And now, Michigan Congressman Mike Rogers. He is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. And Congressman, I know that your big focus in terms of the Affordable Care Act has been the security of the website. You've been talking about that for months. After this month of technical fixes that the administration has been engaged in, are you feeling better about the security of the website?
Absolutely not, Allison. As a matter of fact, it's worse. I mean, they are out there basically selling that the fixes to the website make your information safe and secure. That is just absolutely wrong. They've never stress tested the system. They're adding new code, and every time you add new code into a system like this, it disturbs the ecosystem of what is the whole healthcare.gov. We know that this site gets attacked 1,000 or thousands of times a day. And they have no standard way of making sure that those penetrations, if there are some, aren't widely spread throughout the system. None of that's happening. There's no minimum standard that any industry would accept in launching any website that would have any private information on it. That ought to be at least our standard, if not higher, when you're talking about Americans' personal information.
Congressman, let me remind our viewers of the exchange that you had with Secretary Sebelius about these very things, about new code and stress tests. And let me see if you got the answers that you were looking for then.
Has each piece of that code introduced in the system been security tested?
That's my understanding, yes, sir. And the testing...
Each piece of that code has been tested? Yes or no?
I don't know.
Okay,
but I can tell you that security
testing... That's a much safer answer, trust me.
...is an ongoing operation that as code is loaded, you need to retest over and over and over again. So whether it's pre-tested, I can't
Right, you need to test the code.
Okay, so she didn't exactly know the answers then. That was last month. Have you gotten those answers since then?
No, and you know what's crazy about this, Allison? So they have told us that there's been a significant breach to the system, but the CMS couldn't put the right people with the right security clearances together to come up and brief the appropriate committee in Congress. That ought to terrify everybody. So we know of a serious breach to this system that would expose very sensitive personal information on behalf of every American because the way the system is set up, and they can't even find the right people with the right clearances to come up and brief Congress on the status of that. That's what's so troubling about this. It's serving to disrupt health care all across America. They're worried about the website, but the website isn't even safe and secure. So if it's not functioning properly, and even though they tell you they fixed some things, it's still not functioning at 100%, I will guarantee you if it's not functioning at 100%, it hasn't been tested at 100%, therefore it's not secure. There's white hat hackers, people who ethically hack to test these systems, are saying, hey, this thing was never designed with security in mind, and it's a disaster. That's what's so troubling.
So, Congressman, what is the solution? What would it take to make this website secure?
What you'd have to do is take it down, make it function, so it has to be fully functionable. And you can't test, this is interesting, you can't test pieces of the system and then put it together and say it's secure because each piece is secure. It operates differently when it crosses boundaries. The Social Security talks to Department of Homeland Security. Those boundaries, when that happens, are vulnerabilities. None of that has been tested. So they need to take the system down and go through a full, get it functioning, which it's not. Once it's functioning, then you stress test it. You have people come in and find vulnerabilities. You make sure you understand where every security vulnerability is. None of that's happened. That would have happened in any private sector system that they launched that would do something like this, would be thoroughly vetted and tested for months prior to its launch. Some estimate it would take anywhere from 90 to 120 days to do that. My argument is, let's do that. Mr. President, stop what you're doing. You know it's not safe. Your own people have told you it's not safe. Stop it. Take it offline, get it functioning, and then make it secure. So you can brag about what you think that the bill may or may not be doing. If the site is exposing personal information, we've done no good for anyone. And by the way, if this was done in the private sector like this, you would be sued. No doubt about it. That's why they don't do it this way. We ought to at least try to make this thing safe so it could operate for people who try to get on the system accurately.
Congressman Mike Rogers, thanks so much for sharing your concerns with us. Please keep us posted on if you get any of those answers.
Allison, I'll do that. Thank you.
He makes a number of good points there. The question then becomes, how will the president address the issues that Mike Rogers just mentioned? You will see all that live from the White House when it happens. Also,